Hello, good evening. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the show. My name is Inbaal. I'm a psychic tarot reader and witch, and I'm here on the Bigfoot Outlaw channel. I feel like we're missing our little Bigfoot Outlaw banner. How do I get that on? Sorry while I figure myself out. Does this do it? Oh no, that's too big. Let's try this. Yes, I managed to get it on. Well done, me. For those of you who are joining me for the first time, what we do here is look at all different aspects of the psychic world. I am an expert, I suppose, an expert of sorts around tarot and card readings and psychic development, which is what the show is about. But if you're new to the whole channel, it's a whole channel chock full of esoteric content, and that means that there might be some programs that are more about Bigfoot, like the name is, or about ghost hunts, or about manifesting, or about cryptids. So we go way across the board. You can get involved by sending a message, just like Michelle did really early on, saying hey. Crystal is saying hello. Hey, Crystal. Susan is saying hi, and Sandy is saying hello. I've got what I think is a really fun topic for us to look into today, especially those of you who do readings yourself, whether you do it professionally or as a hobby. I think you're really going to enjoy what I want to look into today. But first, let's see, how is everybody? Where in the world are you? Where are you joining us from? We've got Mark joining us, saying good evening, dearest Inbaal. Big love as always. I got a new set of runes yesterday whilst in Harrogate. Harrogate is a very posh part of the country. It's a very posh part of the area. Roger says, howdy, everyone. So I know that Mark is here in the UK with me. I know that Crystal is in America. Roger is in Eastern Kentucky. Hope you've got nice weather. Very often, Roger, I find the Kentucky weather and the Northern England weather are very much the same. So we've had some sunshine, but it's been like cold sunshine. And Michelle is here from Oregon, USA. I don't think I knew that. How exciting. Go Pack is here saying hello. So the topic I wanted to discuss today, let me wet my whistle. Just in case you're wondering, and I know somebody asked last week whether this is actually live, it is 100% live. 100% live. Mark says I'm in old Yorkshire, I think. So Mark is in the same county as I am, which is actually sort of quite a large county. So we're not like close, but you know, near enough for like a day trip. It is absolutely live. I'm coming at you live right now from Northern England, but we've got people all over the shop. Roger says, I'm close to where the Kentucky, Virginia, and West Virginia state lines meet. I love little corners like that, where there's like, you know, little traditions from this place, little traditions from that place, all kind of meet up. So where I am, if you don't know the UK, it might sound sort of really funny, but the UK is not exactly broken down into states, even though you have the home nations of obviously England, Wales, Northern Ireland, Scotland, but the nations are broken down into counties. And I'm in Yorkshire, but I'm very near Lancashire. And Yorkshire and Lancashire are, for some reason, supposed to be in a rivalry. I'm not like from here. I live here. They're supposed to be in like a lifelong and sort of decades-long rivalry where those think that the other ones have more rain and these ones think that they put the jam incorrectly on their little scones. So I'm right in between, and there's actually a village couple of villages away that used to belong to Yorkshire and now it belongs to Lancashire, or the other way around. It's like a big, huge deal. I don't know. Mark says around 15, 20 minutes. Yep, it's live. Can't stress that enough, right? So Mark knows it's live because he's got like my regular number, not like my work number. So he knows he can hear the kind of bzz, bzz, if he rings me. Crystal says, I'm in northern Georgia, about 30 miles from Atlanta. Is it quite like rural where you are? And Roger says, where I am is where the Hatfield and McCoy feud happen. And now this is what I'm going to be Googling later on this evening. How exciting. I'm so excited to have all of you. I'm so thankful for the technology that allows us to connect. If you're not a subscriber yet, if you're new, or if you let your subscription lapse, doesn't cost anything. Just press the subscribe button, smash that like button so that we can be friends, and that way you help us create content just for you. Crystal says, yes, very country, right? So it's quite rural where we are as well. Mark says, I would never ring you at the moment, though. Yeah, no, because you're not working. You're not at work. So the topic I want to talk about today, is romance in the tarot. It sounds very, very sweet until you realize that when you do a tarot reading, they are really no nonsense. And if they want to tell you that your romance is not for you, that it's wrong for you, then they will tell you. So that makes the topic that much more interesting. And I was wanting to look. Oh my goodness, Robert is here. Robert, I'll finish that sentence in a minute. Robert says, hey, the Britishness of putting your jam in the scones wrong. Right? Like mine and Robert's ancestors would fight over something much more meaningful, like perhaps, hummus. But yeah, the tarot romance cards, we're going to go over a few of them, and you'll get to see all the different sort of hilarity, all the comedy. I say comedy, you might think it's more like tragedy, but all the funny ways that the tarot references romance. But before we jump into the cards, I have got the biggest treat for you. I don't know if you remember, I promised it last week and I am delivering on it this week. We are joined by my friend Ashley, who is also known as the Tarot Bachelor. There he is with a rose between his teeth. Where are the roses?
How you doing, Inbaal? All right.
I'm great. How are you, sweetheart?
Good, very good. Just chilling with the doggo at the moment, but yeah.
Yeah, show us the doggy.
Well, okay. He's currently he's in.
Oh, look at that fluffy little thing. It's like if a dressing gown had a personality.
Yeah, clingy.
Oh, that's
so
cute.
Clingy. He's a clingy little dog, but he's so cute.
Oh, that's adorable. So good to see you. I was actually just having fun explaining to our American friends about the difference between Yorkshire and Lancashire. And I just realized as I was patching you through that you're on the other side. So what's the story with the scones and the jam, babe?
Oh, the what? The scones and the jam?
Yeah.
Isn't that like a Devon and Cornwall thing, scones?
I'm so foreign, like it's ridiculous. So what do we have between Yorkshire and Lancashire? Is it like that you say we've got more rain and we say you've got more rain? What have we got? What rivalry have we got?
You'll get more snow, I'll get more rain because I'm on the coast. So we get all the first. We're on the side of the Pennine Hills. But yeah. And we won the War of the Roses as well, just saying.
Excellent. Yeah, you're like a military powerhouse. And
Something
is there's always something with food, right? Are your tea cakes different to ours?
Oh god, don't even get me started on that tea cake conversation.
Right.
you say tea cake, what do you mean? Do you mean like the fruit? Because in Lancashire, tea cake has currants and fruit in it. Yeah, you want a bread roll.
Bread roll. So they call everything here a tea cake. And when I was new here, I was getting it's so cute. There's like a cafe in the park, and they make their omelets. I'm like obsessed with eggs, and I was like, can I have an omelet? And I'm like, have you got like a bap to put it in? And they're like, we have a tea cake. And I'm like, no, I wasn't wanting cake with my omelet.
No, definitely not. It's not a tea cake. A bap's acceptable, and we call it sort of Lancashire terms. It's a bit of a weird one. They call it a barm cake, which sounds really. But yeah, a barm cake, soft roll, or a bread roll. Tea cake's the thing that's got currants in it that you have for breakfast.
Yeah. So now that we've clarified.
I'd get lynched by the Yorkshire people for saying that, I think.
Oh no, I think they've probably got, it's 10 p.m. They've got better things to be getting on with, like, maybe going to sleep early to save on electricity.
You trying to say Yorkshire people are tight?
It's something that gets, like, every county gets really riled when you say that to them. It really doesn't matter who it is. Robert here remembers you saying, I'm pretty sure everyone was fighting over marrying Ashley when I managed to tune in last. Yeah, it's true. It's true. And Mark checked for us and he says, yep, I just checked Devon and Cornwall, but it still exists.
Yeah. The Devon on things, the cream and the jam, which way it goes round.
Yeah.
So that's the controversy. But when it goes in your mouth, it all goes in the same way, doesn't it? Let's be honest.
That's what I like to say. All ends up the same, children. Just eat what's in front of you. All comes out the same way. So you were here maybe a month or two ago, and you had a reading. And you said to me that you had some updates for me, but you wouldn't tell me what they were off camera, which I thought was very Madonna in the 80s. Won't do anything off camera. You wouldn't share a funny story unless there is a camera pointed at you, preferably with a microphone as well. So catch us up. What is new? Let me put you on a full screen. Let's give you your full respect.
Full screen.
How do I put full screen? There we go. Go for it.
Make me sound like some massive diva person now. I don't live in front of the camera. I'm very off camera, to be honest. But in terms of your predictions last time, you were talking about my new job and how that wasn't where I was going to make my money, and you were bang on the money, literally there, because I've actually left that job and got a better one. So yeah, so your prediction came true, Inbaal.
Amazing. So big excitement with that, and I didn't even know the screen could do that, but there I've got you in a better setting.
Something like that, isn't it?
I like it. So the reading, the prediction was correct at the time, which I'm very, very excited about. And you weren't really like a very sort of spooky tarot-y person. Is that right to say?
Yeah, no, not at all. I mean, I'm not super skeptical, but I probably am a bit more skeptical than some people. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But Inbaal's got talent, like.
Thank you. But to me, that's always like the thing that I'm like most excited about, because preaching to the choir, big deal. They already know it works. Almost everybody watching it already know it works. They've got more tarot decks than me, each of the person watching it. So having somebody like you that lives like in the real world, surrounded by normies, step into our world and see that it kind of works. I think that is so exciting. For me, that's exciting.
Yeah, absolutely. And I always get good vibes off you anyway, Inbaal. Having met you and stuff and having worked alongside you, it's you're the genuine article. Definitely.
Thank you.
Leave it.
Thank you so much. I just really wanted to pick up on that. You said, I'm not really a very on-camera person. Where did we meet?
Steph's Packed Lunch.
That's it, a TV job.
To be fair, that was my first TV gig. I hadn't really done anything like it, and my main sort of goal for doing it was just to have new experiences and to make new friends. And I've achieved that. That was my main goal for going on. I met some great friends, yourself included, who I keep in touch with on a regular basis, and that wouldn't have happened without the TV gig. So yeah, happy days.
It was really the same for me. It was the same for me. That's exactly what I was doing there. And I think everybody at that time was just sort of reaching out socially in a different way because the world was changing. And I feel very lucky that we got to experience that together.
Absolutely, I'm still firm friends.
Yeah. Amazing. Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy evening.
Anything for you, Embal. And lovely to see you all again. Hope you all have a great evening. I'll speak to you soon, Embal, yeah?
Talk to you soon. And if anybody wants to marry Ashley, you get in touch with me and I'll get in touch with him on your behalf. Have a lovely evening, lovely. Mwah. So the story there was that Ashley, just my friend, not somebody that sort of asked for a reading. It was really like, Ashley, do you want to come for a demonstration? And he was like, yeah, all right, why not? Was starting a new job. That's a month or two ago, a couple of months ago. And the reading that he received showed that that is not where his money will be made. And indeed, he started the job, didn't find himself in that job, and found a better paid, more aligned job. And that's, yeah, I think that's mind blowing because, like I said, when it's kind of us, when it's us and we know it works and we all kind of walk on that side of the road, it's great when a reading comes through. That's like the whole point. But when when it's somebody who hasn't really experimented with it, who doesn't really belong to this kind of life, when they try it out and to them that's something, that's like, will it really work? Then absolutely it is very exciting for me. So let's just sort of flip through the messages. Robert still in the tea cake moment, saying a tea cake for me has fruit in it, a glorified hot cross bun. If anyone ever looked up the medieval laws surrounding hot cross buns, let's laugh together. I'd be horrified. Mark says the local chip here called a fried potato fritter a tea cake. I still find it weird. Oh, do they fry their potato fritter with the fish or separately to the fish? Because I might need to come and inspect that myself. Zandy says, were the cakes? Yeah, babe, these people, they'll fight for anything. Mark is loving the Madonna in the 80s thing. Robert waves 2 tea cakes around. Kathy saying hello. Oh, Crystal responding to Inbal's got the vibes. Thank you. Yes, she does. Robert says Inbal has the best vibes. If I could crown her queen of the world, I would. Wow, that's maybe close to the top of the many jobs I would absolutely suck at. And Kathleen says hi. Mark is saying take care, buddy, and Crystal says be well to Ashley. So we were wanting to look at romance in the tarot, and romance, you'll be very unsurprised to hear, is really one of the most popular topics, one of the most popular questions that you get in a tarot reading. And you could get really romantic cards such as the Knight of Cups. So we've got somebody sort of wanting to propose, wanting to be with you, not necessarily propose marriage, but certainly propose a life together or a relationship. You've got really romantic cards such as the Empress, who signifies fertility, fecundity, femininity. You've got your Queen of Cups. So some of the cards are really romantic. But then we have some super weird cards. For example, the Six of Cups. That could be a romantic card, but then it could be something very, very different. Because we've got like the God walking away there. Is this a little girl or an old lady? And then sometimes you would ask a question about romance. How does this person feel for me? Will we end up together? And you get something that appears as if it's completely irrelevant. Like, you know, the tower. What's that got to do with romance? I'll answer that in a second. Or, you know, the Ace of Pentacles, you ask about romance. What's that got to do with romance, right? So my topic is, when you ask a question, your answer will relate to that question so that you can start the answer with the words from the question. What do I mean by that? Is that you're saying, you know, will we last? And the answer will be you will, and then some kind of variation on last. So if you're just sort of saying will we last, and you're getting the, you know, dumpster fire that is the tower, then the answer, the question is will we last? The answer is you will not last, right? And then if you say will we last and you get very generous divine card like the Ace of Pentacles, even though it's not a romantic card, the answer would still be will we last? You will last. So at first, before you even look at the card, have a structure of your question. I know that sometimes people just like to take cards. I certainly do. And then the message might be about anything, you know. So if you don't have a question, don't ask about anything. And then if a romantic card comes up, it talks about romance. And if a non-romantic card comes up, it doesn't talk about romance. But sometimes we get answers that are really close to the bone, really close to the bone. So, for example, if we're sticking with will we last, and you get a picture of somebody sitting up in bed with all their dark thoughts plaguing them, then the answer is not just you will not last. The answer is also you will not last, and they're going to give you lots of anxiety. So you can expand it. Now I'm going to stop for a second and have a very stern conversation with you about the responsibilities when you give a tarot reading. Because if you are doing a tarot reading for yourself, which is the harder one, then you've got to be really, really honest with yourself. If you're seeing something that is, you know, a bit of a disaster, then, you know, that's the answer. And if you can't say it to yourself, or if you're not good at giving yourself bad news, write it down, and then you can read it as if somebody else is giving you the reading. But when you're giving a reading to somebody and you've got to tell them something disastrous like this, you kind of have to. I'm going to take a second. I'm going to have a sip of water, read a couple of messages, and then we're going to go into giving people terrible romantic news. We're going to go back and look at the romantic cards. Don't worry, it's not all it's not all doom and gloom, but it's just really important if you're learning, if you already know the tarot but you're becoming like more professional. Let's talk about those important points. Mark, who has read professionally in the past, says, yep, the romance and readings. If I had £1 for each time I was asked in the past, then I would be worth a lot of money. Yeah, that's exactly it. Crystal says, thank you for teaching us. I love these lives. I love doing it. I feel like a sense of a mission doing it. And Rob very kindly says, Inbaal is such a giving teacher. Honestly, I highly recommend studying with her. Best teacher. Thank you so much. Since it came up, I do have full tarot courses. I've got a full tarot course for the Rider-Waite-Smith deck. I've got a full tarot course for the Thoth deck, and I also have lots of mini courses if you want to get better at predicting timelines, if you want to get better at just like yes, no questions. I literally have a whole mini course about yes, no questions if you want to get really, really good at them. And Mark says, well, unless it's between friends and you need to give bad news, in which case there is a way in which we do it. Do you know, I have to be honest, it's worse with friends. So when you're giving somebody a reading and it's like a professional reading, you know that they are sitting with you, they are paying for your time, they are paying for your skill, so that you would tell them the truth, so that you would tell them the truth that their friends wouldn't tell them, so that you would tell them the truth that their partner maybe isn't even telling them. So yeah, let's divide it into, so if you're doing a professional reading, and it doesn't really matter whether you're doing it, you know, in a big event or whether you're doing a professional reading that's just like for a friend of a friend, if you're doing it for a stranger, then I think it's kind of easier. I really do, because I know that I won't be then dealing with the fallout of the friend being upset, and so I can be really, really down the barrel. And if, you know, for example, somebody asks about romance, what does my partner envisage in the future? And we get something like the hermit, which is somebody that kind of stays away from society. Then I'll be able to say, well, look, your partner really needs space. They need space. They want to be alone. It's not because of you. It's not about you, but they want to be alone. And I'd be sort of quite matter of fact about it. If I had to deliver the exact same message to a friend, I would trip over myself. I would stammer. I'd be looking at that hermit card and I would be dancing around myself a little bit. Now, if I'm sitting with a friend, if I'm doing a reading for a friend and we're not like, you know, paying for a half-hour reading, but we're just kind of messing with the cards over a coffee, and they've got all the time in the world to say, look, if they said something about needing space, how would you feel if they were needing space? Because I would feel so awful for disappointing somebody, because I would feel like it's kind of my responsibility to make them happy because it is a friend. That is my own problem. That is hopefully not your problem. Whereas when it's a professional reading, somebody is paying me for a half hour. They are getting as many facts as possible during that time. Do you know what I mean? So I'd be like, yeah, they need space. Any other questions? You know, what more do you want to know? So each and every card in the tarot has a meaning, has a romantic meaning. It has many meanings. I'll start it again. Each and every card in the tarot has many meanings. Each and every card in the tarot would have at least one romantic meaning. So, for example, let's take one that is really, really distant from any kind of romantic meaning. Let's take this guy, right? We're looking at the Six of Pentacles. We've got a rich person either giving charity to two people of much worse financial status than him, or paying them for a day's work. We can't tell whether it's charity or whether it's pay. We've got the balance here, the scales, which shows that he tries to be fair. And if this comes out when somebody says, I don't understand what's going on in my relationship, what's going on in my relationship, then this would automatically, because you asked the question about the relationship, would automatically become a card about romance. This card has nothing to do with romance. Nothing. It's a card of either charity or pay. It's a financial card because it's got the pentacles. However, if somebody asks you about romance and this comes up, you better dig deep and find the romantic meaning here. For example, you could say, I feel like your partner is trying to be really, really fair and balanced with you. And you could even expand and say, you know, this card is really, really unromantic. So it could be, you would say, that your relationship is really unromantic. Now, this was really just a single card example because we're going back to how important it is to tell the truth and how important it is to say what you see in a reading. Because for the most part, it doesn't matter how stark what you have to say might be, the person you're talking to will almost always, in my experience, say, "Oh, yeah, I know." Because you're talking about their lives, you're talking about their relationship. So they already know. You're not surprising them with brand new information where, where they would go, "Oh, really? The card says that the relationship is really unromantic, but we are just on our way to Maui where we have booked the presidential suite and he's about to propose." It's not going to happen. That Maui and propose is not going to happen if the person has got the charity card to represent their relationship. So in my experience, no matter how long I'm kind of dancing over myself, trying to avoid having to sort of give an awkward prediction, because the moment that prediction's out of my mouth, the person's like, "Oh, yeah, I know. Yeah, that is what it's like. Yeah, that is true." So have that confidence to tell the person in front of you the truth, because that goes hand in hand with the faith that you have that the tarot is giving you the truth, or if you use different oracle cards, still valid, still same message. And have the faith that the person receiving the reading is receiving it at the exact right moment for them, the exact right point in their life. So yeah, let's just look at another couple of messages and then have a little look at the Thoth deck and some romantic cards there. Oh, sorry, I already read that one. Mark says, "Indeed, I'm biased, but I did a refresher of the Thoth. I can say it's a good course." Oh, yes. Sorry, I completely forgot. Mark obviously already reads the Thoth deck, but he did take my my Thoth course. I was so proud to share it with you. I like it. I think it's a good course. What I try to put across, what I try to convey in my courses, is that they're not like academic courses. They're not like reading the Book of Thoth or like reading the pictorial key to the tarot, where all you get is like the information, this card has this card has that. But what I try to put across is how to effectively read them, because the thing that I'm most passionate about is delivering, as excellent a reading as possible. And that's what I try to make the courses show. Ike says, "Hello, all you sexy spirits." Hi, Ike. And he says, "Mark B is not even showing up on my chat. I don't know why. Maybe could it be that you're viewing on different YouTubes? Yeah, could it be that Mark is under my YouTube, Inbaal Psychic, and that you're under the Grizzly YouTube? That could be." Rob says, "I know you aren't showing the Thoth deck." I will do. "But the Two of Cups in the Thoth deck has to be the most romantic card ever, followed by the Thoth Empress. So beautiful." So, mwah, I love that. You are leading us into the Thoth deck. So I'm going to show you the two cards that Robert mentioned. That's exciting. So Two of Cups, very, very romantic. And Empress. There we go. So they've got the same color schemes, haven't they? I wonder if that's what caught you. Both of them with what will henceforth be known as the Wicked movie color schemes, right? So we've got green and pink quite prominently. So you said the Two of Cups first, and I agree. The Two of Cups in the Thoth deck is really romantic. First of all, it's symmetrical. There are a few cards in the Thoth deck that are symmetrical, not all of them romantic, but this one is just gorgeous. And this is the card that represents love when it first begins, when the two people see so much of each other in each other, so much of themselves in each other. And the emotions are very clean and free flowing. The lotus of love and wisdom and consciousness kind of opens above. The cups are receiving. The water is emotion. So this is really, really gorgeous. We have here the mark of Cancer, the sign of Cancer, and we have here Venus. So Cancer is a very sensitive sign, very family minded, and Venus is, of course, the planet of love. So it is a gorgeous, gorgeous, very romantic card in the Thoth deck. And keeping with the same color scheme, we've got the Empress. And the Empress also represents Venus. You see the little symbol of Venus there. And the letter Dalit. The letter Dalit represents a door. And we have, as you see, the same colors here. Instead of having the lotus on top, we have the lotus in her heart. We have this, we have the swan here. The swan, big, huge swan with 4 little baby swans with 4 little cygnets underneath. We have the moon, and here we had Cancer, which is governed by the moon. We have another moon. So yeah, we've got a very, very gorgeous depiction there. So so yeah, very, very gorgeous, very romantic cards. But even in the Thoth, we could have like really horrific answers sometimes. So for example, this is the Thoth Three of Swords, and the Three of Swords is the heartbreak card. And here we've got the kind of bracket. Look how it looks like a broken mirror. So we've got like breakage. The flower, the lotus that we saw is falling apart. We've got the swords, they're kind of jagged and they're kind of twisted. So we've got all of that going on. We've got some messages coming. So Ike says Robert isn't showing up either. Mark says, yeah, he isn't on mine either. So yeah, it could be on the other one. Ike says, huh? Yeah, maybe you're sharing on 2 YouTubes. Well, hello to all the dude spirits. Also, equally sexy, equally sexy. Ike says maybe 2 YouTubes. So I'll tell you, we are broadcasting live right now on Bigfoot Outlaw Facebook, Things Network Facebook, another different Bigfoot Outlaw Facebook, Simply Spooky Network Facebook, Grizzly, the Bigfoot Outlaw YouTube, the Bigfoot Outlaw Twitch, and then my Inbaal Psychic YouTube, and also on my Instagram, Inbaal Psychic. All of the messages come to my screen except for Instagram. So if you're watching me on my Instagram right now, I'm sorry I can't see your messages. And then when I go back to the screen, they get deleted. So so sorry to everybody on Instagram. But yeah, we are on all of those channels right now live. So you guys might not see each other's messages below, but I get to see all of you. And Susan has cracked it. She says, I think they're accessing through YouTube. And says, I mean, Facebook. No, all of the messages so far, except for, I think, Kathleen earlier. Yeah, just Kathleen had come in via Facebook. I get to also sort of see where, which platform you've come in on, but I can't see exactly which channel you'd come in on. Crystal says, I'm really wanting to start reading the Thoth deck. That will be my next deck. I'm telling you, I am like the worst evangelist when it comes to the Thoth deck. I'm like, everybody's got to try it. Everybody's got to try it. And I know that the deck is not really for everybody. Rob is actually a great example. Rob, please jump in and confirm. that for you, you've always said that the Thoth deck is a little too colorful, it's a little too in your face, so it might not be for everybody. But today, just today, I also sort of teach one-on-one, so I mentor people that want to basically that want to have my time in person. And my girl that I mentor for years now is going through the Thoth deck after we, basically smashed the Rider-Waite-Smith, and she's learning a lot of witchcraft, a lot of manifesting. But we started the Thoth, and when she held up the priestess, she held up her priestess for me on the screen to show me something in the card, I felt so emotional because I thought, there's somebody else enjoying this deck, and this deck has been, my close friend and my confidant. It's been my main deck for 30 years now, 29 and a half, long time anyway. No, 30. Right, so she held this card out for me to see, and I was just so moved to see that card in somebody else's hand, because I know that the card has walked with me and has had experiences with me and has guided me when I needed it. So to see somebody else enjoying it in that kind of way, and Crystal, I know that you're going to love it and that you're going to find it really, really easy, because your gifts are very similar to mine, right? A little different in places, but very, very similar to mine. So you'd react to the images the same way that I do. Bridget says, is it possible to connect with a friend I've lost? Sure. Let me ask you if you want to ask a specific question or just to kind of see what's going on there. Mark says to Crystal, sorry, my screen just jumped. Mark says, Thoth is so much fun. Robert says, don't get too stuck in your head when approaching the Thoth deck. The readings will flow, I promise. Oh, I'm so pleased to say that. Ike says, cooking, I'll be in and out. Mark says, the first deck I learned was Thoth, then Morgan Greer, then Rider-Waite. Almost exactly the same for me. So I learned the Thoth, but one of the first books I was using to kind of get the intricacies of the tarot had the Morgan Greer illustrations. Right? You recognize them? And only afterwards I learned the Rider-Waite. And it was really only when I started teaching that the Rider-Waite sort of became, went into my heart. Robert says, yeah, I used to be afraid of Thoth Tarot for years. Then I gave it a go a few years ago, and it's my go-to deck. I like to tell myself I'm better with Rider, but my readings are always accurate with Thoth. The Thoth is just so nuanced. It's so nuanced, where Rider-Waite is very accurate, but it gives you kind of bigger picture descriptions. The Thoth gets right inside your pants. Do you know what I mean? Rob says the readings are different between the two decks, but both very accurate. Yeah, I really, really agree with that. Mark says, Robert, that's because Thoth literally talk to you. And Crystal says, yes, I've dreamed of Thoth, but never read them before. I dream of tarot readings all the time, but never remember them. Right? They still communicate with you. They still sort of teach you as you're sleeping. Mark says, and then Ike shares with us smoked brisket, veggies, smoked peach pie, and North Kakalaki coleslaw. Even as a vegetarian, I'm drooling right here. Enjoy your cooking, Ike. And I have to tell you, I'm so flattered that the show is kind of your background for your cooking, because I like to put, stuff that I enjoy. Generally, that's when I listen to voice notes, when I have that sort of moment in the kitchen to do my thing. So let's talk. We talked about sort of delivering bad news. Ike says, my brisket would turn you into a carnivore. Perhaps not. Perhaps not, but I can really sort of appreciate from a distance. And Carol is saying good evening. Hi, Carol. So you see there's a little F next to Carol's picture there. So that shows that she's messaged from Facebook, whereas nearly everybody else is messaged from YouTube. See, now you get all the ins and outs. Running the show. Ike says, lol, there's a line in Friends where Phoebe, who is obviously a vegetarian character called Phoebe, is obviously a vegetarian, wants to do a wishbone. She wants to sort of break a wishbone. And she says, just because we don't eat meat doesn't mean we don't like to play with a carcass. Yeah, which I thought was funny. Anyway, so we talked about the romantic cards in the Rider-Waite, romantic cards in the Thoth. We talked about how to deliver dreadful news, but I also want to go into how to deliver excellent news, because it is as much, if not more, of a responsibility. Because sometimes you'll see kind of, Two of Cups, Three of Cups, Ace of Cups, Lovers. It's all kind of piling up on top of each other, 10 of Cups, and you've got like such a romantic reading. Even the Ace of Discs in the Thoth, let me show you, looks like an engagement ring. Wait, let me find it. It's like a diamond shape surrounded by angel wings. So I've seen it come up for engagements multiple times. But let's say you're doing a reading and you've got all those incredibly romantic cards, like a rom-com right in front of you on the table. What do you say? What do you say? Because if you're me, you're thinking, well, I'm going to give her like amazing news and then she's going to go home to somebody that, what if I get that wrong? And then I've given her an incredible reading. It's so beautiful, but what if I get it wrong? And then she goes back to a terrible relationship. So I feel so much more anxious to advise somebody to stay in a relationship and say, it's going to be amazing, than when I suggest to kind of leave a relationship. The thing like, what's the worst that can happen? She leaves, what's the worst that can happen? Do you see how the Ace of Discs looks like an engagement ring? Can you see what I mean? Well, maybe sideways on. So when incredible tarot cards come up, same thing. Push through. Tell the truth. Say exactly what you're seeing. And my little hack when delivering like incredible news, and also when delivering like dreadful news, is just sort of lumping it all on the card. So instead of saying, I see him proposing, then you say, this card looks an awful lot like an engagement ring, so it makes me think that something like that is coming up for you, right? Do you see how that is just a lot less, mentally taxing on you as the reader? Or, it works the same in awful news, I guess. So you say, how is your relationship going? Then you go, well, this card comes up a lot for like anxiety and bad dreams. Is one of you living a nightmare? Maybe the relationship is a bit of a nightmare at the moment. And, you're giving the news, you're saying exactly what you're seeing, but you're not, suffering from stress, hair loss, just because you delivered something that was, that would have upset you if you got it. But again, like I say, usually by the time you've got the message out, the person will recognize themselves in the reading. Right? Ike very helpfully said, North Kakalaki is North Carolina in my native tongue. I love that. I didn't know that. Mark says, yes, yep, it's one hell of a responsibility when we give readings. It is. It's a big responsibility. And I know that when I receive readings, I want to know the truth. I don't want you to sugarcoat anything for me. If I wanted sugarcoating, I'd be, self-soothing in front of some comedy on TV. If I come to you for a reading, give it to me straight. And I really feel that when people come for readings, and maybe you guys can confirm that, you know, if you've had readings before, when people come to me for readings, I like to believe that what they want to see is the actual, you know, the actual commentary that I'm seeing in the exact same way. And I very rarely, I would say maybe 3 times in my whole career, I've had somebody sit down back when it was face to face. Do you remember meeting people in person? And say, I don't want any bad news. And, you know, I'm not here to judge. If you don't want any bad news, that's great. I actually have a whole reading that I call it the rainbow reading, and it is good news only. So that is also available. But on the whole, I feel like people enjoy a kind of spit and sawdust kind of reading. Nigel says, hi, everyone. Hi, Nigel. Mark says, when I had really bad migraines, I kept getting that card. The one with the that I was saying with the anxiety and the nightmares. Yeah, so it's a card of like mental strife. So it could be that those migraines. It's this one. It's the Thoth 8 of Swords, and it's a Gemini card, Jupiter in Gemini. And it really comes when, you know, when you can't sort of get a grip on yourself and your thoughts kind of take charge, they take control, and they make it really hard to, you know, to keep calm and that. It could be that whatever was giving you the nightmares was also the reason why you were getting that card. That it's not that card was showing the migraines, it's more that the card was picking up that there was something, you know, driving you bonkers. Dal is very sweetly saying, wait. Oh, sorry, my screen is frozen. Not the whole screen, just a bit with messages. Daldo says, this is my second time seeing you, but I like the way you explain things. Thank you very much. I love explaining things. Nigel very kindly says, how are you doing today? I'm doing really good today. Thank you. I've had a very exciting day. All my days are very exciting. Mark says, yeah, some of us like to have the BS cut through. Good evening, Mr. in the background, by the way. Did you get him? You know, he's 50 today, by the way. It is Mr.'s birthday, half century. Mark says with the swords. Yeah, that's the card. And Rob is relating, saying, obviously, the horror show is a Gemini card. Yeah, the 3 horror shows are all Gemini cards. So we've got the 8, the 9, and the 10 of Swords. 9. Let's find the 8 and the 10 again and show you them side by side. And they're all Gemini cards. So we've got Mars in Gemini, Jupiter in Gemini, and I mean, the 7 is not great either. The swords, it's a lost cause. It's a lost cause. I'm just looking for the ruin. Is that, yeah, the sun in Gemini, obviously. So the 8, the 9, and the 10 all together. In a way, they're very gorgeous, aren't they? Can you see them? They're beautiful. You could have them as like artwork on a wall, but I would say not your wall. Certainly not your bedroom wall. I wouldn't recommend it for living room wall either. Maybe, you know, if you have like a business at home of like an abattoir, then they would fit beautifully. But yeah, they're all Gemini. So we've got Jupiter. Sorry, I was doubting myself. Jupiter in Gemini, Mars in Gemini, Sun in Gemini. Each one more, you know, more harrowing than the one before. Rob is a Gemini, so he really gets that. John is saying hello, everyone. Hello. Lorna is saying, oh, I'm so late. I know, we're finishing in like 1 minute. Robert's saying, oh, happy birthday, Mr. Rob says, happy birthday.
Thank you.
Rebecca's saying hello. And Ike is saying to Lorna Nicole, don't let it happen again. Strike one. This isn't baseball. No, it's not. Rob says, I love the horror cards and the 3 also. Yeah, but do you like the 7? Mark says, holy mackerel, happy birthday. Oh, Colby says, happy birthday. And let's just do a couple of last messages. Crystal saying, I like the truth because it will catch up with you anyway. Wow, what a thing to say. That's going to be like the saying of the night. I don't know if I can make it flash or something. Can you do special things with messages? Oh, no, you can ban people, but yeah, let's just put it back. I like the truth, she says, because it will catch up with you anyway. You might as well get the truth out of your reading. That's so true, so accurate. And the final message for today says, I have issues, guys. I'm a Gemini, lol. Amazing. I'm going to flash the rest of your messages on the credits as I finish. But thanks, everyone. Thanks, everyone, for joining me. I thought it would be a fun topic for all of us to enjoy. If you've got any topic requests, do not be shy. I'll be more than happy to entertain you. And I will see you next week. Thank you so much for joining me.